What's good, gamers? Buttoff941 here, and today's video we're going to be talking about something that really drives me up a wall. I was supposed to have a different video up today, but then I started writing the script for that video, and I ended up spending about 3 pages on this, so clearly I have a lot to say, so we're going to do this today. But before we get too deep in the video, if y'all could click like and hit subscribe as well, that'd be very, very cool. I put out at least a video a week on Friday at noon Eastern time, and I really appreciate if y'all would stick around for the future, so thank you very much. Let's just get into it. Eruption is the least enjoyable experience the Crucible has to offer, and has been since inception. It's so unfun. It is so unbelievably unenjoyable. First, let's establish what Eruption is for those who are unaware. It is a 6v6 game mode exclusive to Iron Banner. There are no zones to control or objectives beyond just killing the enemy team. It's available as a modifier on existing game modes and private matches, but for the purposes of this video, we're going to talk specifically about the Iron Banner version. On getting a second kill in a life, the player begins surging, giving extra ability and super energy on each kill. Once you hit 5 kills in a row, you become primed, giving extra points and even more ability energy. 1 kill, nothing. 2 kills, surging. 5 kills, primed. Simple. While primed, you will notice a debuff timer counting down from 15. If the timer hits 0, you fucking explode. Getting kills refreshes the timer. During this time, the enemy has wall hacks on you constantly. Not like a pinging one. No, this is perfect. 100% uptime wall hacks on your location. And the timer as well. If you die to an enemy, or they tickle you right before the explosion that would kill you, they get an extra 5 points added to their team's score for stopping a primed player. Exclusively to Iron Banner, when a member of your team becomes primed, the entire team gains a chunk of super and ability energy. This is the version of the hunt that this mode gets. Now, if you're familiar with D2 PvP at all, you could probably see the issues this brings up. Oh, ability uptime is a problem in the current sandbox, to the point of Bungie having to nerf the cooldown on all prismatic abilities by 15% across the board, and it's still not enough, by the way. It was still fucking not enough. What if we gave you a shitload of energy, so you and your teammates can go sicko mode with ability spam, no problem? Well, that's alright. We'll just bring in a debuff to help combat snowballing, even though this game mode is built entirely on getting a snowball started. Now the enemy has wall hacks on you if you start playing well. That should fix it. And what does playing well constitute? Just getting a 5th kill while alive. Like, not getting a multi-kill, not doing some really cool thing like stopping a super or anything like that, no objective control, no map control, no, getting a 5th kill participation. So the optimal play is to get 4 kills, then jump off the map or hide in a corner to prevent any accidental trade in a duel to be in the enemy's favor by at least 4 points. Dude, I love getting my super 3 times a game because my teammates are doing well even though I'm feeding. I love going from a 40-point lead to being down by 6 because my teammates tried to hero play the roaming super. I love when everybody runs away from me when I'm about to have a good moment because the game told them where I am even though my entire playstyle relies on misdirection. I love constantly flipping spawns because roaming packs of team shotting is the correct way to play the fucking game. I love when the lighting changes around me when I get a second kill, making it even harder to see anything on the maps that have drastic lighting shifts on them already. I love when I have to fight 3 supers 2 minutes into the match because my fucking teammates are stupid and they just decided to feed them for God knows whatever fucking reason. I love backfilling a match that's down by 60 with 1 person on the team that I join, but for some reason the Mercy rule just isn't kicking in. I love it. It's so fun. What a great game mode that really understands its player base. It absolutely encourages fun chaos and isn't home to the least enjoyable moments of the Crucible I've ever had since it's an Iron Banner and everybody plays like it's World fucking Finals or they're scared of their own goddamn shadow. Oh, but Pluto, if you say, you can just go into the control playlist if you don't want to deal with Eruption. Bungie gave us an option to avoid it if we want to, you silly goose. Yeah, an extra playlist to split the already low PvP population that's hidden behind menu expiration that requires the apathy threshold to be overcome by the average player, on top of needing to know that that option is already even there. Just add another highway lane, forehead, yeah, that'll fix the fucking problem. I'm under no delusions that PvP will ever fully recover from the state that it's in right now and go back to the glory days of, I guess people really like Forsaken, so Forsaken PvP. It'll never be where it once was. I'm well aware of that. We'll never get to the we're so back moment in the Crucible. But dear God, experiences like this just push more and more people away from the Crucible. Iron Banner gets people that usually aren't Crucible players to dip their toes in for shit like Tinashe's Mastery just being an exclusive reward from this game mode, and exclusive rewards are the way that you get more people to participate. It's why Trials, at the start, whenever there's something new, has a decent population, but then it drifts off over time because people got what they wanted. or didn't want to deal with it in the first place. But they don't stay for long if this is the experience that they're going to have, and I honestly don't blame them. But if there's a chance of anybody having a good time and it just clicking to where they finally get why people like the Crucible, it'd be during special events that have an extra draw, like Iron Banner. Instead, it's this shit. An unenjoyable experience that just hurts the already suffering reputation that the Crucible has to the outside world. Like, Destiny's biggest problem right now is the dwindling player population, and that hits the Crucible the hardest because even when the player population was high in the game itself, the Crucible was still rather low. The whole SBMM versus CBMM argument doesn't even matter when there isn't a healthy enough pool of players to pull from for skill-based matchmaking to even work. I've said it before, I'll say it again, gamers are stupid and don't understand what they're asking for most of the time. SBMM, despite what most people think, is actually one of the better things to happen in PvP games. There are multiple studies in Call of Duty games where players weren't aware whether or not skill-based matchmaking was implemented, and the overwhelming majority of the time it wasn't active, more players would leave games and stop playing overall. There's a direct correlation between the existence of SBMM and more players having a better experience. Unfortunately, Destiny doesn't have Call of Duty numbers. So when you prioritize skill over connection, everything else suffers and both arguments are tainted. Now, I don't want to pivot this video into talking about that argument, though. I'm just pointing out that one of the most popular talking points when it comes to discussing PvP video games has no water due to the lack of players. Like I said before, anything that discourages more players from engaging makes it harder for changes down the line to be implemented as a result of flawed data. And I argue that Eruption does just that. I don't understand why it's still around in the Iron Banner playlist of all places. Like, I don't know, man. We all saw Dado's video, and while I fully agree that the hyperbolic negativity is something that this community absolutely does not need more of, Eruption is one of those consistent, egregiously bad examples that hits every single problem the Crucible has had. Everything I've complained about in this video has been around since Eruption has entered the game. Nothing has changed. Not a single thing. I'm not breaking any new ground here by saying anything I'm saying. Players from all over the spectrum of skill have the same complaints. You'll have good games here and there. I'm not saying every single match I've had is fucking awful, but the core mechanics are inherently flawed. And what really sucks is that a game mode is new Crucible content. Ish. I argue that they're on the same level as maps in terms of a PvP update. It's an extra facet of variance in the infinitely changing vortex of player-generated content that exclusively PvP modes are. I've never really agreed with the idea that sandbox updates and game mode introductions are not PvP content, are not PvP updates, but maps are. It's just another lever to pull and tweak, with mixed results, like all things. Like Dissonance and Multiplex are examples in the negative. But game modes are content. Different objectives to achieve create different optimal playstyles and strategies, which create counter-strategies, which then create their own counter-strategies, and so on and so on. Sandbox updates lean into certain playstyles and loadouts in the exact same way. Now, like I said before, there are some negative examples, and, sometimes they don't really hit the mark all the way, and that's fine, that's expected, it is what it is. Now, this is where I start asking for things. I would like it if this could be retired in the same way that some maps get retired from being a priority pick in certain playlists, or even just removed entirely, right? Like, I want Multiplex, Eternity, Dissonance, Solitude, and Cathedral of Dusk retired from 6s, as they are not fun to fight on in faster respawn game modes. In that same vein, I would like Eruption retired from Iron Banner and reworked. I think it would be kind of cool if it was like a Rumble Party game mode, where there is a Berserker enemy. If you kill the Berserker, you become the Berserker. The score goal is kills as the Berserker. Like Oddball in Halo, or VSH in Team Fortress 2, but free-for-all and random to start, potentially. Anything different than what we have now, because this mode is unbelievably painful. When Eruption first came out, it was praised, arguably rightfully so, as it was fresh content, but like with everything in gaming, players optimize the fun out of it. So now we get an extremely exploitable game mode, where the best practice is to not engage with half the game mode's unique mechanics. Since this is Destiny, and performance and fun don't matter, but winning is the only metric that really changes anything, since that's how you get more Iron Banner rep and engrams. We've been giving the same feedback about Eruption for the last 2 years, and there's been no adjustments beyond shifting the overall Iron Banner schedule and adding other game modes. Which, like I said, is fine, if not great, but to leave the shittiest experience untouched? I don't fucking get it, man. I do not get it. Yeah, I'm tilted because I had a shitty time in the Crucible that I had to deal with in order to get footage for a different video. If I wasn't working on a different project, I wouldn't have subjected myself to this and had a shit time so as a result, I'm making this video instead. Mad 'cause bad, 100%, but it's my channel, fuck you. And I, like I said, started writing this in, like, the side notes. It's like, oh, let's just do a side rant in this video, and it turned into 3 whole pages, so here we are. Like, next week cannot come fast enough, man. I don't want to deal with this. Splitting player populations even further, making the main experience unfucking fun is just not. When you go to choose a PvP match to play in, you got your big shiny iron banner that has 2 playlists within it. You got your Rumble, you got your competitive, you got your Showdown, and you got your Supremacy 6v6. So you have 3 6v6 playlists, one of which is hidden behind another one. The people who are going to play PvP are going to go into one of 3 locations, at least in the 6s. You've already split the low population even further. Connections are not good. Connections are not good here because there are no people playing. Why don't we just have it be one playlist with a game mode that works? I don't understand why people hated Control. I don't get it. People always like back when there were no like clash options. People were like, oh, I want more options. No, you don't. Control works. There, like, map problems exist, sure, but that's not the game mode. The game mode isn't the problem with Control. It's the map. Control fucking works, and it always has worked. I don't know. That's just my opinion. This one kind of got away from me. It's a little messy, and I apologize if I confused you more than anything else, but I hope my main point is getting across here. Eruption is bad, and I cannot stand it, and I don't understand why it is in the same state that it's been in for this long. Does not make any sense to me. If you have any thoughts on anything that I've said, I would love to hear about them in those comments down below. I'll have an edited red tape video ready to go by the 24th, so I apologize. That should have been up today, but I got distracted by this, so here we are. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Yeah? Okay. Have a wonderful day.